Welcome back, True Seeker. Did you see that Senator Marco Rubio put out this tweet yesterday? He wrote, claiming some of the students on TV after Parkland are actors is the work of a disgusting group of idiots with no sense of decency. What I want to do is I want to give his office a call and I want to let him know if I'm a disgusting idiot for having the following questions. So let's dial here. This is the Miami office, Marco Rubio.
Good afternoon, Senator Marco Rubio's office. How may I help you?
Yes, is it possible to speak to Mr. Rubio?
The senator is not in the office at the moment, but I'll be happy to take a message for him.
Sure. So yesterday he put out a tweet. It says, claiming some of the students on TV after Parkland are actors is the work of a disgusting group of idiots with no sense of decency. Did you know this?
Okay.
Did you know that he put out that tweet?
I cannot speak on behalf of the senator about that, sir. This is an office where we only speak on what the senator has said, but I can take a message for the senator from you, sir.
Sure. Is there a way to turn up the volume on your phone? It's really quiet.
I apologize for that, sir. I can't fix that.
Now you're louder. Now I hear you. Yeah, so you can leave this message for him. I suppose he's talking about people like me because I'm someone who exposed that there's this person, David Hogg. Have you seen him in the news?
No, sir.
David Hogg is this person who recently lived in Los Angeles, and he got to go on a nightly news story there recently. Supposedly he was the witness to a lifeguard bullying a teenager, and they didn't put out the names of the lifeguard or the teenager, but they put out David Hogg's name. Now the story is David Hogg just moved to Parkland, Florida, and he happened to be attending high school, and now he's in the news again. You know, he's been on the front page of CNN all day today. If you go to CNN.com right now, his face is right there. But anyway, David Hogg, when he first went before the media, supposedly he was a witness to the shooting, but it was very obvious that he wasn't there because he was talking about things that didn't make sense. He was talking about fire alarms and lots of fire drills. And from whoever was behind the camera started to coach him, started to tell him what to say. So then he started following directions from the person behind the camera. Why would somebody who was there, who was a witness to the shooting, need to be coached on what to say? And also, what are the odds of a teenager in the United States of America getting to go on the nightly news 2 times in their teenage years? I mean, that only happens for very few people in this nation. It's not just that. We also had the story of Carly Novell, her and her mother. Her mother told the story that her father lived in Philadelphia and was part of the first shooting massacre in 1949. And Carly just had to hide in the closet, just like her father had to hide in the closet back in 1949. What I notice in all of these incidents, not just this Parkland shooting, but just all of these shooting incidents, is we get these stories where we're supposed to believe these very improbable coincidences. Were you following the story of Mason Wells after the Belgium airport bombing?
Sir, I can't answer any personal questions. I'm just taking a message.
Okay, well, you can just word it this way to him. You can word it to Marco Rubio then. Ask Marco Rubio if he was paying attention after the Belgium airport bombing, because we were given a story in the United States that a Mormon missionary, Mason Wells, was injured at the Boston Marathon bombing, was injured at the Friday, the November 13th Paris attack, supposedly by ISIS, and then also injured by the bomb at Belgium. This 3-man was injured at 3 separate attacks in 3 different places of the world, survived them all. After the Belgium stories, when they told us this tale, and they showed him with his face bandaged, in wraps. So what I'd like to know from Marco Rubio is what's so disgusting about questioning things that seem highly suspect. And that's not to mention the fact that this is the United States of America, where on September 11th, 2001, we were showing images on television of planes melting through steel and concrete and then causing perfect demolitions. And then we were told it was a man in a cave who was responsible. And then we were told we needed a Patriot Act and to give up all of our rights and liberties and allow the government to track us and have surveillance over us. And ever since then, it's just been a quickening of these fear-based stories with an agenda from the government of giving up rights and liberties, giving more power to military and police. You know, ask Marco Rubio if he was paying attention when Columbine happened and the news media ran a story that the two attackers, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, had a fantasy about hijacking a plane and flying it into the tallest building in New York. One of their birthdays also happened to be September 11th, if you want to do a little research. Are all of these things coincidence?
I apologize to interrupt you. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to let you go because I do have another constituent that I do have to take care of. But I'll be happy to relay your message to the senator. All I do need to properly log your call is your zip code, if I can get that, please.
Yeah, my zip code is 98021. And before I go, I want to tell you one more thing to relay in your message. I'll be quick. From the Orlando nightclub shooting of June 12th, 6/12, to the shooting at the high school on Valentine's Day was 612 days later. And that matters because in the language of Gematria, which is a Masonic language where Masonry's headquarters are in D.C. with our federal government, in the Masonic language of letters and numbers, Valentine equals 612, so does police, so does Dunblane Massacre, which got the rights taken away in the UK, so does Columbine High School, so does Orlando Strong, and so does a whole lot more. So let Marco Rubio know with his little hand